And just like that, there is a lawsuit that is now fighting the whole non-domiciled CDL rule. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about this new lawsuit that was filed on Monday, so yesterday, trying to block DOT's non-domiciled CDL rule. What happened, what is it, and what does it mean? That's what we're going to try and explore today. Ready? Let's go. So as I already said, on Monday, October 20th, a lawsuit was filed with the U.S. Court of Appeals of the D.C. Circuit seeking to challenge the rule surrounding non-domiciled CDLs, saying that it threatens the livelihood of immigrants. The lawsuit, which is titled, and I'm sorry again about my pronunciation, Rivera Lujan versus the FMCSA, was actually filed by several people, including Mr. Rivera Lujan, Mr. Semenovsky, AFSCME, and AFT. So Wendy Liu, which is the attorney at Public and Citizen Litigation Group, she stated the following: "We are asking the court to promptly invalidate the rule to prevent devastating consequences for our clients and the hundreds of thousands of people across the country who depend on commercial driver's licenses for their livelihoods." So that's pretty much all the information we have at the moment because it is so new. But let's chat about what could happen. And we're going to go through different scenarios. Scenario number one, a stay. Yes, it is possible that the court is going to pause or stay the rule's implementation during the litigation process. This would typically come in the form of a temporary restraining order or preliminary injunction, which basically halts enforcement while the case is heard. In simple terms, that basically means that the court could say that no, non-domiciled CDL should continue to be issued until we figure this whole situation out. Scenario number two. If the court finds that the IFR, the interim final rule, which is how this law came to be, it basically did not open the door to public comment because it was an emergency ruling. If they find that this IFR was improperly issued and they don't see the research that the FMCSA did as a real emergency, it could strike down the rule completely or tell the FMCSA that they have to revise it through a full rulemaking process with public input. You know how the FMCSA, in certain instances, before it publishes a new rule, it opens it up to public comment. That could be the case. Scenario number three. There is a possibility that the court would side with the DOT or the FMCSA, affirming the rule's validity when it comes to national security and safety concerns. For example, they could look at FMCSA's research and say that, hey, yeah, California really was issuing 25% of their non-domiciled CDL to people who were not supposed to get a CDL at all, non-domiciled or otherwise. In this case, the rule would continue and states would continue revoking all of those non-domiciled CDLs over the next 1 to 2 years. Scenario number four, the court could allow only parts of the rule to stand. For example, they could say, hey, we need a stricter verification process, but they would block this mass revocation that is happening right now. Scenario number five, if the court looks at this case and determines that this lawsuit is premature, specifically because there is a comment period that is open right now. Of course, it's after the rule is already in effect, but there is a public comment period up to November of 2025. The court could just dismiss the case, which basically allows things to continue as they are going now. So what I decided to do is to research this specific courts, the U.S. Court of Appeals of the D.C. Circuit. I decided to research their historical patterns. Now, obviously, a court doesn't really have patterns. Every case is different, but there was some stuff that I did find that I wanted to share with you. So, number one, historically, it seems that the DC Circuit upholds agency actions in roughly 70 to 78% of administrative law cases. Now, For transportation agencies, for example, the FMCSA or the DOT, the Department of Transportation, the court often leans towards upholding rules tied to safety or clear statutory authority, but it's quick to reprimand those agencies when the agencies skip procedural steps such as public comment or there is a lack of evidence. Now, this court is also apparently quite skeptical of those interim final rules where it's not open to public comment, it just goes on to be a rule, kind of expedited. They're very skeptical of that and historically permitted the use of IRFs only in some narrow categories. So yeah, I just wanted to update you guys regarding this non-domiciled CDL rule, what is happening. Obviously, there is a lawsuit going on. Do we know what's going to happen? Of course not. We're just going to have to wait and see where the wind blows. But I'm curious to hear your opinions about this. I am curious to hear what you think the outcome will be of this lawsuit. And I will continue keeping an eye on it and sharing it with you guys as more news come out surrounding this particular lawsuit. Anyway, wishing you all a fantastic rest of your Tuesday. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep learning. See you in the next video.